Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to look at a speed build of a house I made. It's a house in an old style again, but I added some details to make it look a bit more modern. And I really like how it turned out. I didn't really expect a lot of it, but it turned out looking quite pretty. And I say I didn't expect it because I've tried to use a new style. So as I said, it's like an old house, but you'll see why it still looks a bit modern. So first I built a structure. As you can see, I immediately had the idea to put special roofs, so in between the roofing there would be little balconies. That was my plan. So you'll see how I did that. I used the roofs that I normally use, but then I added some of these other roofs. I don't know what they're called, the ones that are still open on the side. And in between I left some space, as you can see, to put fences and to make a balcony. So it's actually just the same as what I would normally do, but with these other roofs in between. And as I always say, you have to make sure you don't forget a part where there still needs to be a roof. The parts in between in this case are the balconies, so you don't need anything there. Then I tested if another roof fitted better, but that didn't make sense because you still need a wall at the side when you have a balcony, I think. And then I adjusted the size a little to see whether it matched. And then I experimented a little more with this roof, but then I was like, no, that's too high, and it was actually already okay. Now I looked for little fences that I could use on the balconies, but these ones that I used were a bit too small. And these ones, you could use those ones if you wanted it to look more modern, but still wanted it to look quite old and fancy. So I tested out some fences, and in the end I chose this one. I think that one really fitted there. Then I had to make the top part of the roof. As you might have seen on the picture, I'll change some colors in the end. At first, when I made this build, I was just trying random things because, as you'll see, at one point in the beginning it'll look quite different from what it turned out to be in the end. Now I'm still trying to find the right roofing, the right fence to use as roofing. Okay, and then I used this color for the roofs, and I made the trims also. I also made them black because otherwise you had a very weird effect. I also think that if you leave the roof trims white, it always turns out a bit strange. Okay, so this is when I thought my wall trims would be black, but in the end you'll see they'll turn out to be white. And this is a tricky part, so when you want to make everything symmetrical, it's easier to place these blocks like I did, but then you'll have to remove all the walls, as you can see, and you have to make sure that you're not deleting too much of the walls. But it's also difficult because if you use the hammer to delete things and you select multiple parts of the wall, it suddenly deletes everything. Okay, so as I said, at first the colors were different. I didn't know what I was going to do yet, so it turned out to look like this, which is, I mean, kind of boring, I think. I don't know about you, but I think this looks kind of boring. So that's why I changed it in the end. It does match my previous build a little, but my previous build was a renovation, so there it looked better and it made sense. It's the one on the left. The Umbrage Manor in Willow Creek, that was already there and I renovated it. By the way, if you have an idea for a house that I can renovate in The Sims, you can let me know in the comments, because I don't know which houses are the most interesting. I never play with the original Sims houses because they're not that cozy. They're quite empty most of the time. But renovating them can be quite cool. Okay, so as I said, these colors look a bit boring and I didn't know what I was going to do. And when I came back later, I had a totally different idea. So I think that'll come in next. If you've taken a look at the thumbnail picture of how it turns out, then you know that a lot of these colors will still change. For example, this I made white, I made the whole roof white, and then I had to choose my walls. I did this, but I decided to leave some of the roofs in the same color as downstairs. But if you paid really good attention, you'll know that it'll still change. Downstairs will be black instead of white, but you'll see that later. Yes, that's this one. But right now, as you can see, underneath the balconies and the roofs, you don't have a wall trim, and that's quite annoying because you need it to make it look complete. So as you will see a little further on, I will be placing fences underneath the roofs. So you'll see how you have to do that. Because sometimes you need fences to make a closed space so you can add wall trims, because as you might know, you can't just add wall trims anywhere. Okay, so then I use these pillars. They made it look really cool, I think. without them it would look really strange and maybe a bit boring, so this is something that can better the whole build. So as I said, something is incorrect. We still need wall trims at the top part, and then I realized that you need fences for that, so I took this little get to work fence that is actually just a stripe on the floor, so I used the black one to match the roof trims in case you could see them, but I don't think they're that obvious actually. And I placed them everywhere, so together with the balcony fences they would form one whole area, one whole closed area, because that's what you need when you want wall trims. As you can see, that little green line appeared. That means you have an area and you can add wall trims. And then I made the ones downstairs bigger, and then it looked like this. But then I realized I still wanted that black wall, which made me think that it was more logical to make the roofs black as well. The only thing that annoyed me is that downstairs the foundation is a bit small compared to the pillars on it, but it was okay. Then I placed the stairs, and then one of the best parts I think is the windows. So the windows really added to the vibe of, it's like an old house but maybe a bit renovated and still quite modern looking, especially when you see what I will do in the garden. That's, I won't tell you yet, it's for later. Yeah, I added a window here, but I'll just remove it eventually. Then I searched for a front door, or for the doors on the balconies. Black made sense because they matched the windows. Then this one also made sense to me, you know, the old style, also the black and white, kind of, it matched. So I just used this. It also, it has, again, as I said, the old but not that old look. So when I was searching for a door, obviously I didn't want this door to be put on top of the stairs because that wouldn't work out. But then I got an idea. I was like, why don't I add another part to it? I don't even know what that is called in English. I say a porch, but porch is more like in front of the door. A veranda, I don't know if that is a word. But yeah, something like that. It's also not a greenhouse, because greenhouse is more in the garden itself and for plants and stuff, so I don't know. Okay, then I had to think a bit about which windows I would use, and then I realized, first I tried these ones but they look too old. Then I realized that the new base game windows, because there was an update and they gave us all this new base game stuff, the new base game windows, so these ones had the option of being white on the outside and black on the inside, which was very interesting because all my other windows were white on the outside and black on the inside, so that matched. That was really handy. it annoyed me that they didn't have long windows, but then I just added this to make it look longer. And then this was the door that fitted in there. Oh yeah, then I wanted to do something special with the roof, but I didn't find anything, so I actually just wanted the roof to be transparent. So I searched for that dance floor from Get Together, and the glass dance floor, but it looked strange because, as you can see, it's a dance floor, so it has lights on it. That was a bit strange. I didn't like that. That looked too modern, so I could do something with that in the future maybe, because it did look cool. But yeah, that didn't work out. A normal roof, which I could make transparent, also didn't work out, because then it removed the pillars. And then I was like, why don't I just keep it this way? And why don't I just make it a big balcony or a big terrace, or how would you say that? Yeah, big terrace. So I'll add the fences that I used for the balcony. I'll add them to this roof, so it becomes a terrace. Yeah, I messed up a little here because the window kept moving. So I did it like this. I don't know when I realized that I have to place fences there. Yeah, that's right now. So I place fences and I change that window to a door. And I still wanted to use that door, so that came in handy. So as you can see, this also makes it a bit more modern. I don't know, I feel like it makes it more modern because it's as if this was an old building and then this part is built in or added later when they renovated it. And you can use it for different things. You can eat there, you can put plants there, you can make it a little garden as if it were a greenhouse. You can eat there and make it a garden. It's also an option. Or you can make it a little living room. Okay, then I had to choose the fences from outside. It was difficult to choose this because I didn't really know what color they should be in. I chose this because I thought it was white. Then I realized that it wasn't white, it was pink, which I think was really weird because, I don't know, pink looks very strange for that. It looks so old or something. Okay, so then I had to choose, do I want white fences or black fences? In the end, I chose black because it looked more modern again. And also white would blend in too much with the pillars. So I used this. I placed them everywhere, but then there was a bit too much, so I deleted that part. So the garden still looked alright and not too small. And then I chose the tiles that I choose a lot of times. And I also use them on the outside. So as you can see now, it looks really cool. It looks so much better than what it was going to be in the beginning when it was black and white. Now it looks way better. It has more personality. Okay, then I had to decorate it with plants. I chose these ones. Actually, if you think about it, aside from a few things, I may have had the option to make this a base game house, but then the walls wouldn't make sense because that would need different wallpaper, and some of the fences couldn't be used, so it could have had an entirely different effect if I made it base game only. But that being said, I will probably make a base game house for the next video, because I do like to show everyone what cool houses you can make by only using base game. That used to be difficult in the beginning of The Sims 4, but now it's quite possible. Also, my first build, the cozy base game house, had a base game museum, I think, but I also had a cozy base game house. And that worked out really great because I thought it would be bad if I only made it base game, but in the end I decided to make it base game, and it turned out really good looking. For this one it would have been a bit more difficult, as I said, with the wallpaper. Okay, then I realized something which I really liked and which I'm really proud of. These Sulani trees are orange, can be used in orange, and it really matches the orange-like color of the upstairs wallpaper. I say wallpaper, but I mean bricks, but you know what I mean. So the bricks are orange-like, and then these trees are also orange. I really like that. And I placed some trees here. I also like that it's really full. It's full of trees. It's not empty and boring. So yeah, I think this turned out really pretty. Then I had to add a mailbox, because as I said in the previous video, if you don't add a mailbox, you have it just randomly appearing anywhere. When you want to play in a certain house, on a certain lot, it can just appear like on your in your house, or like in the middle of your kitchen or whatever. So that would be a bit strange. Yeah, then I realized I hadn't placed the tiles yet. Okay, then for the inside, I was a bit scared about this because I had already made everything on the outside, and when you have to make the inside parts, sometimes, I don't know why, and I don't know if this is still the case, but sometimes things outside start to move or start to disappear, especially things you've placed with Alt, and then like to make them more diagonally, to turn them around, to place them whatever way you want. Then you really have a problem if you go inside I had this once. I went inside and I changed the wallpapers, and for some reason this furniture I had already placed outside and downstairs started to disappear or started to move, and I don't know why, and I don't know if Sims still does that sometimes, but it was really annoying. And it was really like, I don't know, don't know what I did here, by the way. Oh yeah, I checked which color of mailbox matched it the best way. But I don't know if The Sims still does that sometimes, but because of that I'm still scared to change things when I've already placed a lot of things outside. But it turned out fine. It didn't move anything. Maybe also because I didn't use Alt to freely place objects. Okay, so now I had to decide a bit. I had to make sure that everything looked realistic and handy to use. Yeah, also had to check which color matched the front door. But I think, yeah, you enter and you enter like this in a kind of little hallway, and then you had one room on the left that's like the living room, and then another smaller room that would be like the kitchen, and then the one that's next to the porch or whatever it is the dining room, or maybe that could be your kitchen and the other one could be a dining room. Or you could also have a study. But what I also forget sometimes is that you can also have a bedroom downstairs if you want to. This house has a lot of space though, so I don't know if you would really need for another bedroom downstairs, but you never know how many Sims you have in your household. Maybe you want a household with a lot of Sims. I think this house would be ideal for that, by the way, because you have so many rooms in the end. That's why I called it Big Mansion. Because you not only have this floor, but you also have the floor on the floor that's on the roof part. Oh yeah, so you had the hallway, and then that little room I made was like a kind of bathroom, I think. Here I was a bit confused with what I wanted to do. And also I realized something. I had placed the stairs there, but then it didn't make sense anymore with the door for the balcony. So that was not a good idea of me, so I changed it to this, and then you could reach the balcony again. And then I could make better rooms, one there, like a bathroom and a bedroom, I think. And then another room and a little bathroom. I think all the little rooms are the ones that I counted as bathroom, and then you have a few bedrooms. But if you take those little ones and use them as a bedroom as well, you have so much space. You can also just throw out a wall. You can even delete everything on the inside and just rearrange it and make something better than what I made, because I don't know if what I made is like the best choice. I just tried something out. I don't know if it's the best option for dividing the house into rooms, but it's quite alright. It also has a bit of variation, so not everybody has the same type of room. That's also nice, I think. And you can be very creative, like that one has a lot of parts sticking out. You can use that for a closet, a big closet, or you can make a walk-in closet. You can add another wall. You can make a little corner for kids to play in, or you can put a desk there. So, you know, many options. Also, in one of the rooms, I think that one on the right, on the first floor, you can put 2 children actually. So you could also count that one as 2 bedrooms. Okay, so this is the outside. This is how it turned out. I really like it. I like the orange trees next to it, and then on the inside we have this very clean. You can do with it whatever you want. You can find this build in the gallery, and I hope you liked it. It's a big mansion, by the way. I don't know why it's called small mansion there. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.